Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 28, entitled Puranjana Becomes a Woman in the Next Life. Text 18. Lokantaram gatavati Mayanata kutumbini Vartishyate katam tvesha Balakan anushochati Loka antaram into a different life. Gatavati Mayi when I'm gone. Anata bereft of husband. Kutumbini surrounded by all family members. Vartishyate will exist. Katam how? To then. Esha this woman. Balakan children. Anushochati lamenting about. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. King Puranjana was anxiously thinking, alas, my wife is encumbered by so many children. When I pass from this body, how will she be able to maintain all these family members? Alas, she will be greatly harassed by thoughts of family maintenance. Purport. All these thoughts of one's wife indicate that the king was overly engrossed with the thoughts of woman. Generally, a chaste woman becomes a very obedient wife. This causes a husband to become attached to his wife, and consequently he thinks of his wife very much at the time of death. This is a very dangerous situation, as is evident from the life of King Puranjana. If one thinks of his wife instead of Krishna at the time of death, he will certainly not return home back to Godhead, but he will be forced to accept the body of a woman and thus begin another chapter of material existence. The translation of the verse again. King Puranjana was anxiously thinking, alas, my wife is encumbered by so many children. When I pass from this body, how will she be able to maintain all these family members? Alas, she will be greatly harassed by thoughts of family maintenance. Hare Krishna. I'm very happy and honored to be with all of you again. We are in very interesting part of Srimad Bhagavatam, which discloses the ingenuity of Narada Muni and his preaching to King Prachini-Barhishat, who was very much engrossed in materialistic way of life, but not just ordinary materialistic way of life, but actually a very pious materialistic way of life. He was performing different sacrifices and so on. And he also had very illustrious sons, many of them, and he instructed them to engage in austerity and so on, so he was very pious. But although he was pious, he was engrossed in material life. And this is the warning of Srimad Bhagavatam. Don't be pious. Be devotees. Don't be pious, be devotees. Because if you are pious, this won't help you, actually. King Puranjana, which is, the name is very significant also, means that he's the ancient one, and means actually the soul. Lord Krishna says in the beginning of Bhagavad-gita, Natvevaham jata nasam natvam nime janadipa nachevana bhavishama sarve vayam atah param. That there was no time that you, I, and all these kings wouldn't exist. And no one of us will ever cease to exist. So we are all ever existing from time immemorial. And since we are in this material world, it's proof that it's very difficult to come out of it. That we actually are attached to it, that we want to stay within it. As long as we have material bodies, it's proof that we want to enjoy our life in material world. And therefore, Narada Muni is teaching King Prachini Barhishat, give up this idea of happy material life, because being pious means to live happily. Yes, this is the purpose of pious life, to live happily, not just in this life, but also in the next life, and next, and the next. Yes, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is also, thank you, warning us that this pious life, which can bring us to heavenly planets, is very dangerous, is some kind of trap, because in heavenly planets one becomes very much attached to enjoyment, isn't it? There is much higher level of enjoyment than here. So one can become very much engrossed in the enjoyment spirit. And when he finally finishes his heavenly episode of his life, he comes back, as Krishna explains in 9th chapter of Bhagavad-gita. And when he comes back, he's very much still attached to the enjoyment from heaven. And since the enjoyment, heavenly enjoyment, is not easily available on this earthly plane, one can easily engage in sinful activities to seek shortcuts for the enjoyment. And of course, sinful activities push one in hellish existence. Even if one doesn't go in physical hell, still one has to undergo hellish existence here, and we can see there is much hellish existence. I don't know about Czech, but we say in Slovene that one have a sleep of a just man. That means that spanje pravičnega. Do you have something similar in Czech? How do you say?
Spánek spravedlivých.
Pravilých. Of the in the same. Yes, of the just. Yeah, that means that you can sleep very soundly and without any anxiety, isn't it? So if you're pious and honest and just man, you can peacefully sleep. Otherwise you can't. So if you're impious and sinful, you can't sleep peacefully. That means you are always in anxiety. That means that you suffer. Anxiety means suffering. So this is one important point, that don't be attached to nice life in this life. Yes, don't be attached, because we can easily become attached to a nice life. We strive for it every day, actually, for a nice life. This is nothing wrong with this. To take bath, to eat nice prasad, and so on. This is nice life, isn't it? But to become attached to nice life, this is something dangerous. So don't be attached to nice life. Yes. Accept happily whatever it comes. Yes, this is the secret of bhakti. Actually, not just that we accept happily whatever it comes, but we should know that it comes from Krishna personally. Yes, we should take it like this. Krishna is sending me even these reversals in my life just to become more attached to him. Yes, he's so merciful, and so he's sending me these reversals and these sufferings just to become more attached to him. Yeah. Yesterday we discussed with Sudam Prabhu about how Krishna sends some money and then he takes it easily away. So that we are always in anxiety. And also Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj's system was that devotees took different loans and then they had to repay them, and they were always in debt. So devotees were always in anxiety, how will we repay these debts? But these anxieties in devotional service are actually the source of bliss, because we are always connected to Krishna in whatever situation. But these spiritual anxieties, we can say, are good. It keeps us engaged in connection with Krishna. Yes. Therefore, they are important. It's good to be in anxiety. It's good to be under pressure, some kind of pressure. Yes. Otherwise, we can easily become lazy, because this is the natural state of Kali Yuga, to be lazy. Mandak matayo mandabhaga upadakta. People are lazy, very much lazy, especially for spiritual understanding. So, yes, don't be attached to nice life. Be attached to service. Be attached to service. This is very important. And the next point from this verse is also very important. Actually, most important is what we think at the time of death. We already mentioned when I was here previous times how people think that death is some kind of a miracle. And I will just go home back to Godhead, because Krishna is merciful. But we should understand that Krishna is eternally merciful, not just now, just recently become merciful, just to show me this mercy. But he understands our heart, and from him comes knowledge and remembrance and forgetfulness also. Sarvasya chaham hridis anvishto mattak smritir jnanam apokhanam cha vedesha sarvaraham eva vidyo vedanta kritveda viteva chaham. I'm situated in the heart of everyone, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness. Yes. And he knows our desires. And therefore he will give us remembrance according to our desires. And here we can see King Puranjana was very much attached to his wife. Therefore, he was thinking about his wife, how she will survive. And it is mentioned that they had hundreds of children, very much pious children and strong sons and so on, but who could easily protect their mother. But still, he was in great anxiety. How will the world go on without me? It's impossible. Yes, I'm so much needed in this world, and especially for my wife and my family. This is, of course, very foolish kind of thinking, because the world will hardly notice that we have left. And maybe for a few moments people will be touched by our departure, but in due course of time everyone will forget. Even if you are most famous of men, still people will forget, except if you are a really great devotee. Then you can be remembered for thousands of years. But otherwise, people just forget you. Do you know the names of your great-grandparents? Anyone? Some of the great-grandparents. You still know? It's interesting. I don't know. Anyone else know the names? No one, just Daitya-Sudan Prabhu. But not all for all of them, I believe.
I just remember great mother, great-grandmother, and also her husband. And then from other side, from my father's side, I don't remember. There was just emptiness.
Yes. So you know 2 names from out of 8, I believe. And no one else knows anyone of his ancestors. Yes. So this is the proof. Everyone forgets. Yes. And how much we are needed? Not very much. Even for our family, we are not so much needed. Yes. Especially if you're a very rich man, then everyone hardly waits that you die. So you're also not needed, even if you're rich and influential and famous. You're not needed. You're just in the way. You old man, just get out. Yes. But it's very important for us what we are attached to. Because what we are attached to, we'll definitely think of at the time of death. So, if we are attached even to our dhoti, or a sari, or I don't know what, or a necklace, or some new watch that I have acquired, or a phone, yes, what to speak about phones. I just acquired new iPhone. I don't know what are the numbers now. 15? Is there 15? 16. 16. I blind guessed. I was close. iPhone 16. And just I got it, and now I have to depart from this world. And Krishna will definitely give us the body to get another one. Yes. He says, he explains, Yam yam vapi smaram bhavan tyajantyante kalevaram tam tamaveti kanta sadatat bhava bhavita. Whatever state of existence one has at the time of death, whatever he thinks about, he'll definitely achieve this without doubt. We just continue whatever we have brought till the point of death. We'll just continue this same state of existence. There is no miracle at the time of death. That Krishna is merciful and he will take us into the spiritual world. Yes, he will gladly take us to the spiritual world if we think just of him happily. And we are attached only to him and nothing else. But if we are attached, as Prabhupada said, to one chocolate, he will give us the body to taste it. We should know that spirit is free. This is the characteristic of spirit. It's free, completely free. Therefore, we are allowed to do anything, because this idea of allowing means bondage, isn't it? Yeah. I allow you, that means you're my slave, actually, or under my power. But Krishna is total, absolute freedom. That means that he allows us everything. Doesn't his allowing is not the question. He wants everyone to be free and responsible, of course, for his action. And therefore, everyone is free to accept whatever existence he wants, actually. So, and we can assume whatever form we want. We can become a demigod or a pig. We can choose. We can become a woman or a man or a dog. Yes. Whatever we want. Of course, it's not so easy because we are influenced by the modes of material nature. So, but from absolute point of view, we can choose whatever we want. We can choose whatever relationship we want with Krishna. Actually, whatever existence we have now is certain relationship with Krishna, because Krishna is absolute. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yajnana madvayam brahmati paramatmati bhagavan iti shabdati. Krishna is advai is one existence. Nothing is outside of Krishna. So whatever existence any living entity has, it's actually some sort of relationship with Krishna. So we can choose whatever relationship with Krishna we want. So we have chosen this existence we have now. This kind of relationship. Of course, in material world, this relationship with Krishna is in ignorance, avidya. It's called avidya. This is the basis of material existence, is avidya. Therefore, this forgetfulness is the basis of our relationship with Krishna now. Still, we have only relationship with Krishna and nothing else, actually. Yes. Therefore, if we want our benefit, we should get very much attached to Krishna. Yes. Krishna explains in 12th chapter of Bhagavad-gita, Mayeva mana adatsva mayi buddhim niveshaya, nivashishasi mayeva atta urdvam asamshaya. That one should mayeva mana adatsva, one should engage his mind in me. Mayi buddhim niveshaya, and he should live in me with his intelligence. Yes, mayi buddhim niveshaya. Nivasishasi mayeva, and in this way he will live with me without doubt. Yes. Asamshaya, without doubt. And then he explains the tachitum samadatum nashaknoshi maistiram abhyasa yoga natato mam ichaptum dhananjaya. If you cannot be in such a samadhi all the time, then engage in abhyasa yoga. And that means sadhana bhakti. To be to engage in drill of consciousness, like military drill. Yeah, because we are used of material existence from time immemorial, and we think that we can be quite happy in this world, isn't it? If everything is perfect, we are quite satisfied with this life, which is of course craziness. But still, we are attached to it. And therefore, we should train our consciousness to focus on Krishna. Yeah. Therefore, Prabhupada gave us these vows of initiation that we should chant at least 16 rounds without offense. At least. Yes. So these are for the purpose of training our consciousness to concentrate on Krishna. And as long as we don't attain at least level of nishtha, it's very difficult to concentrate on Krishna. And even then, unless we attain the state of ruchi, can be difficult to focus on Krishna. And even on the state of ruchi, mind still goes to material things on its own. Only on the stage of asakti is still under material influence somehow, to some degree. But only in this state, mind goes to Krishna, even if you try to focus on material things. Mind goes on its own to Krishna, on the stage of asakti. Deep attachment to Krishna, this state. So yes, by constant practice, by mind drill, we can say, mam ichaptum dhananjaya. Krishna explains, one will develop desire to attain me. And this is the secret of success, actually. The desire. So, it's very important what to desire. And this doesn't come automatically, even when we start our devotional life. Because we are attached to material enjoyment. But we don't think that we are attached to material enjoyment, but we think that we are properly situated when we say, I just want to go home back to Godhead. Have you heard about this amongst the devotee community? I have enough of this life. I just want to go back home, back to Godhead. Have you heard devotees speak like this? No? Never? Hare Krishna. But Krishna understands our language. First, this is the desire for liberation. It's not desire for bhakti. It is desire for liberation, to be free from our anxieties. Next, Krishna understands this, I want to go home back to Godhead. This translates, this is our jargon, but Krishna understands our jargon much better than we do. He understands that we want to enjoy in spiritual world. That's why we want to go to spiritual world. We want to enjoy. And Krishna understands our consciousness. You want to enjoy. So even though you say, I want to go home back to Godhead, I understand your language. So if we die with this mentality, we can go to heaven, because there is a place for enjoyment. And Prabhupada said that majority of devotees will go to heaven. Yes. Why is this so? Because they're attached to enjoyment. And they live very much piously, majority of devotees at least. They're quite pious, isn't it? They follow at least some principles, higher principles. They don't engage in sinful life, so they're eligible to go to heaven. If they have such a desire. Therefore, it's so important to acquire proper knowledge. Yes. It's crucial actually in devotional life. Otherwise, we can say knowledge is not the essence of devotion. But Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti-yoga prayojita janayateshu vairangam gyanam chayata haitukam. Sutta Goswami explains in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam that bhakti itself gives us knowledge and detachment. So, therefore, we should know what is proper devotional service. Otherwise, we will not receive proper knowledge. And if we are offensive, this is not proper devotional service, is it? If our chanting of the holy name is offensive, this is not devotional service, this is offending the object of our so-called love. Therefore, we should be extremely careful not to be offensive during our chanting, and not to be attentive during chanting is also an offense. So if we, of course, we should chant 24 hours a day if possible, but our prescribed rounds, the rounds we want to offer especially for Krishna's pleasure, should be done exclusively for his pleasure. Nothing should be there. I repeat this very much all the time, again and again and again, because it's so important and we tend to forget. And it's a Latin saying, repetitium est mater studiorum. Do you know what this means?
Repetition is the mother of learning?
Yes, of study, yes. Repetition is a mother of study, of learning.
In Czech we have repetition is mother of wisdom.
Of wisdom. Yes, it's the same. So, therefore we should repeat this all the time, that we should chant with perfect concentration, if possible. Therefore, it means that we should go to the lonely place. Krishna explains in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad-gita that this desire to be in a lonely place is a sign of knowledge. Yes, and all different yogis go to lonely place to meditate. So we should also go to some peaceful place to chant our prescribed rounds. And this is minimum 16. We can chant more. We can prescribe ourselves more than 16. I encourage you to chant more than 16, but at least 16 minimum, in such spirit that we go to the lonely place, switch off your phones, put them somewhere away, far away from you. No sound should come out of the phone. You shouldn't speak to anyone. It's very tempting that you speak to anyone, to someone, that I have to do this, I have to do that. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Yes, we share our thoughts on different topics. No, we should exclusively focus on chanting. This is our sacrifice for Krishna. Sacrifice means that we do something sacred. This is sacrifice, to do something sacred. So we should do our chanting sacred. Yes. Exclusively for Krishna's pleasure. Everything should be for Krishna's pleasure. Yes, this is bhakti. Even if we want to achieve good qualities that are explained in Shastra, in Bhagavad-gita, there are many good qualities explained. Krishna explains different qualities that we should strive for them, but not independently. That I want to be independently forgiving. I want to be merciful. I want to be such and such. No, we should strive for these qualities, not that we should be like this, but for Krishna's pleasure. Because everything is meant for Krishna's pleasure. The whole existence, spiritual and material, is meant for Krishna's pleasure. So our consciousness should be, I do it for Krishna's pleasure, not for my pleasure, not for to be recognized as a good person or anything like this. This is material consciousness. Yes, this may be goodness, but it's material consciousness. Then we should avoid material consciousness, even in goodness, by all means. We should always meditate. I'm Krishna's servant. I'm Krishna's servant. So when I'm dying, because this is a verse which teaches us how to die. So when we are dying, we should think of Krishna, not in fear of suffering in this material world, but with desire, Krishna, please help me to always think of you, to serve you in some way or another. As Kadamba Kanana Maharaj said, that death is just change of service. Nothing else really. If you are a devotee, and even if you are not, because Jivara Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nityadas, we are always servants, Krishna's servants. Even if we are most ardent atheists, we are still servants, Krishna's servants, and nothing else than Krishna's servants. So death is just change of service. Even if we don't realize it, we just continue our service in one way or another. But we should have this mentality, I want to be your servant, Krishna. Servant of your servants. This is my desire, to be servant of your servants. And these people that surround me, my wife, my children, who are dependent on me, my disciples, if I'm a great Vaishnava who accepts disciples, we can be also attached to the disciples like this. How can these disciples will live without me? Particularly this Mataji. we can also become a woman as a great spiritual master. I didn't get a good husband for her. How she will live? Hare Krishna. So, we shouldn't be attached to any position in this world. Yes. We should be just attached to Krishna. And we should know what is our prayojana. We should know what is our prayojana. This is so important that we focus even in this life when everything is okay with our body and mind. At least we hope that everything is good also with our mind. We should focus on our goal. I want to be the servant of the servant. I want to be, as Rupa Goswami says, that it's essence of all advice. Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananu Smrityoh Kramena Rasanama Nasini Yojya Tishtam Vrajeta Tanaragi Jananugami Kalam Nayeta Kilamit Upadesha Saram. Upadesha Saram, or the essence of all advice, is to follow the example of perfect inhabitants of Vrindavan. So we have to have this in mind also during our everyday life. Yes, I'm just trying to follow the example of the inhabitants of Vrindavan, because all their life was dedicated to Krishna only. If I consciously try to be their servant in our everyday chores that we have, and even when we wash the pots or do whatever we have to do, or we go to shopping, or even if we go to the toilet, we have to have this kind of mentality. This is our prayojana. We should never lose focus on our goal. Otherwise, our abhidaya, our path, won't lead us to our goal, because we have so much different thoughts. This is so important to understand. This is the secret of dying, actually. And we are dying even now, imperceptibly, moment to moment we are dying. So die perfectly. This is Prabhupada's program, to teach us to die perfectly and to live perfectly. Actually, we live eternally. So, live perfectly to die perfectly. Yes, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, and he took it from the Bible, we should die before death. Yes. That means that we should die for material life. We should be materially dead. Yes. So we should die immediately. Yes. Hare Krishna. Is there any question or comment or doubt?
What is our prayojan?
Yes, I explained. From Upadeshamrita, Rupa Goswami explains. One should become a servant of the inhabitants of Vrindavan, of Krishna's eternal servants. Yes. Especially Lord Chaitanya brought this Madhurya Rasa. This should be, of course, the problem is that because it's so high, this topic, it's hardly ever discussed in ISKCON. Is it? And because it's hardly ever discussed, people, devotees, think that it's not proper to meditate about this. Maybe someone thinks like this. But it's our goal to think like this. And other devotees who are not sincere, they think ISKCON doesn't provide this highest enjoyment. I'll go somewhere else. Who freely speak about this. And I will get this highest type of enjoyment. Of course, Krishna understands this jargon also. But still, we shouldn't avoid this. Of course, on the external level, it is explained by our acharyas, we should follow the path of Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. Yes. In Bhagavata-dharma dasa itself, which is the book explaining the path of Raganuga Bhakti, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Shruti Smriti Purana Di Pancharatra Vidimbina Aikantiki Harir Bhaktir Utpata Eva Kalpati. That if one doesn't follow Shruti and Smriti, Shastra actually, then his so-called Ekantiki Bhakti, one-pointed devotion, is just disturbance and nothing else. And when Lord Chaitanya taught Raganuga Bhakti to Raghunath Das Goswami, who is our Prayojana Acharya, he said to him, Amani Manadahanya Krishna Nama Sadalabe Vraja Radha Krishna Seva Manase Koribe. This is actually the secret. By our external body, we should be extremely humble and giving all respect to everyone and don't respect for oneself. This Trinada Pisunichana verse is the key of all success. And we should constantly chant the holy name. Yes. Amani Manada Hanya Krishna Nama Sada. Sada means always. Sada Labhe. Always chant the holy name. This is our external appearance. Always chanting. But in our heart, Vraja Radha Krishna Manasa, Seva Manasa Koribe. One should serve Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, in Vraj. So how to serve Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan? For this, one should study Srimad Bhagavatam. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that this smarana is the essence of Raganuga Bhakti. And of course, in Kali Yuga, as all limbs of devotional service and everything should be accompanied by kirtana, by chanting of the holy names. And regularly reading Srimad Bhagavatam is one of the main limbs of Raganuga Bhakti. Regularly study. We should regularly study Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, chanting the holy name. Actually, the whole system that Prabhupada gave us is Raganuga sadhana, if we have proper consciousness. Yes. Otherwise, not. Yes, we should have this kind of consciousness. And took guidance of advanced devotees. This is our priyojana, to become a follower of Brajavasis. And first we have to develop great desire for this. If we don't have great desire for this, lobha, it will be very much artificial. Therefore, by proper chanting, therefore I stress this proper chanting very much, and I'm continuing stressing it. To properly chant, with helpless mood. If we are not able to focus constantly on Krishna, we should have this helpless mood. Krishna, please help me. I'm completely helpless. I cannot control my mind. I'm not able to focus on you. I don't have any desire to attain you, actually. But I would like to. Please, Krishna, help me. I'm helpless. This should be our attitude. And then, if we are sincere, Krishna will help us. Definitely, He will help us. And also connect us to our desire. If we hear regularly, Nashta Preshva Bhadarshu Nityam Bhagavata-seva. That should be always Nityam Bhagavata-seva. Service to great devotees and service to Bhagavatam. Listening to Bhagavatam and explaining Bhagavatam to others. This is Bhagavata-seva. Hare Krishna. Is this okay? Hare Krishna. Anything else? Okay, thank you very much for your attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Nitai Gaur Pramanande, Hare Krishna.